Again, everybody, coming to you live. Once again, just me, myself, and I, also known as Warren. If you don't know, you know by now. Figured I'll just step in and chat and see how everybody was doing on this lovely Sunday afternoon or whatever day you get to watch this video. Uh, I am keeping it really simple today. Y'all know I really love cabbage. I hated it as a kid, but I have come to absolutely love cabbage. I think within the last 10 years or so, y'all got to excuse me with this adjustment, trying to get, the direct angle. So if y'all would just bear with me while I work on this, because like I say, I am cooking as well. So if you're shaking around, my apologies early. But as I was saying, I absolutely do love sausage and cabbage together. Simple dish that I do with red pepper and onions sauteed with my sausage. It really, unless you just have to have a lot of salt, it does not require a lot of salt, because this andouille sausage, for me, it has quite a bit of salt in it. So the intake is quite a bit. Just depends on how well you like it. Sometimes I'll make it a bit spicy, but seems as how I will be sharing this with a friend, I decided not to make it too spicy, if you know what I mean. So that's why I am with this. And I have my cabbage on. I don't believe in cooking cabbage too fast. I'm gonna have a mess to clean up, but it's all fine and good. Normally I would be cooking and cleaning at the same time, but I will not be in this video unless y'all want to watch the food for me while I step away. That's a whole nother subject for another day. Now, with this cabbage and this sausage, onions and red peppers, I always put andouille sausage in at least 5 minutes beforehand. Y'all got to excuse me. Hello once again. So if I'm cooking and I'm talking and I'm watching two pots, quite frankly, I may not be reading these messages right now. So y'all have to excuse me with that. My Sunday has been great. Like I say, with this steamed cabbage, andouille sausage. I went with a sweeter onion this time, and thinly sliced red peppers. Some people do green peppers, but to each his own. For me, I think that's too much green when you have green cabbage, but that's just my opinion. Like I say, to each his own. And if you're gonna steam your cabbage, like I'm doing, put the lid on. Put just enough chicken broth in there to keep it from drying out. So I'm doing well, everybody. I hope everybody else is doing well. It's a great Sunday. At least the sun came back out. I was able to go back to the park for a little while because my intention was to hit the park early this morning. And if you're in the South, namely Georgia, namely the metro Atlanta area, it was storming this morning. Well, at least over my head. So I didn't get a chance to do my early morning walk. I'm counting down the hours till I return to work tomorrow. I don't want to go back to work. I talked about that earlier today. I'm not gonna make a big deal about it right now. I just don't want to go back to work. But when you all are cooking, for those of you that cook, how do you like your green and red peppers if you use either one? I still like mine to have a little bit of a crunchiness to it. Some people will cook it all the way through, but even with cabbage, I like my cabbage to have a little bit of texture to it, little crunchiness to it as well. Because when you're steaming cabbage, you're locking in the flavor. That's why I say put your lid on. Put your lid on. And I know a lot of you probably got on here, or you constantly getting on here looking for a lot of foolishness and a lot of jumping around. But I'm not a young dude. I have yet to do skits yet. Somebody did chime in and wanted me to do a taste challenge. I have some of the things they want me to taste together, but I'm gonna up it a little bit. So I'll probably just post that. I don't think I'm gonna do that live. I'll probably post that. Rap music. Let me think. Do I like rap? I like the old school. I like if I had to say single anybody out, I don't particularly like rap based on who the artist is. But if I had to say particular people, E40 is my favorite, believe it or not. E40. Of course, NWA. Along that genre. But definitely E40. I like his beats. I like his delivery. I like the game that he's spitting, because even though we're from two different coasts, a lot of stuff he says holds true. Because although I may be little bit older than him, I like his music. See, I like rap music, but my music genre right now is pretty much whiskey blues. And I know a lot of people, especially the young heads. Now here's what's funny. Everybody's out here popping fans and clapping fans and all this stuff. Welcome aboard, those of you that are getting accustomed to a small taste of blues. I prefer whiskey blues, and it's more of an instrumental type of blues genre. It's not so much the artist or the singing, it's the instruments. I love instruments. I love listening to instruments. I love the sound that they make. So as far as rap, I listen to it, but there's hardly a time that I'm openly listening to rap music. With the exception when I'm walking and I'm doing a power walk in the park, I would put on some Too Short or Lil Jon and the East Side Boys. I grew up here in the South. I grew up in the Metro Atlanta area, so I actually knew of Lil Jon before he was famous, because we had a mutual friend. And yes, he's a lot younger than me, but we had a mutual friend. And I'm not gonna put that man's business out, but he and that young lady was quite friendly back in the day. How I got to know her, I met her in a store, and her and I became good friends. And we became carpool buddies. So, Lil Jon, East Side Boys, we go on and on, but then again, I don't listen to rap that much, so it's hard for me to sit here and just ramble off names. That red pepper's good. It's seasoned just right. Now this is a dish that's going to be combined. I know y'all know how to make something simple like sausage and red peppers. It's a no-brainer. It's a no-brainer. A lot of you can do this with your eyes closed, and cause y'all are just that talented. I'm not teaching anybody anything new. Like I say, I will be doing some major cleanup tonight. But I was listening to blues long before, since I could remember. See, it all goes in one pot, y'all. Because I was young. And hold on a second, y'all. With me listening to blues, it kind of paralleled with gospel music, especially being in the country and going to Baptist churches. So it kind of paralleled. I can't name 10 blues artists because I don't listen to music for the artist. If y'all don't understand what I mean by that, let's take Beyonce. They can play 5 of her songs back to back. I probably wouldn't even know who. I know the most familiar, but I probably wouldn't know too many of them once they continue to play them, because I don't listen to that type of music. And when I say that type, I don't mean that in a disrespectful way. And especially this young stuff today. Let me tell y'all something. No disrespect to these people making their money. What's up, Muhammad? Everybody else. Like I said, I'm moving around, so I'm really not reading these chats right now. No disrespect to some of the younger artists, but some of this stuff they're saying, I can't even understand it anyway. And sometimes people walk up to me trying to hold a whole conversation. I had a guy helping me loading something on my truck once. I ain't gonna even lie, y'all. I couldn't understand what that young fellow was trying to say to me. I was like, what? Huh? I didn't understand him. I'm not being funny. I just did not understand what the hell he was talking about, because he wouldn't open his mouth to speak. He mumbled, and the only thing I understood was when he said thank you. Because I gave him a decent tip. Look at that, y'all. It's done already. I could show y'all this, but then my camera would be out of view. Like I said, it's simple. It's cabbage, red peppers, sausage. I could try to aim the camera down there, but if my phone following my food, it's y'all's fault. If y'all got it, you got it. If you don't, oh well. But anyway, somebody just recently asked me, do I like blues? My food is done. What are you guys having for dinner today? This is actually not my dinner. This is my part of my snack when I come back from the park. Part 2 today, walking in the park. This is really my lunch for tomorrow. Something quick. Went to the store yesterday. 1 head of cabbage, 1 whole onion, red pepper. I don't know, $6. Fair. I mean, and the sausage I already had it. The andouille sausage. I already had that. Caught that on sale, 2 for $5 the other week. So I have that already. You don't have to spend a ton of money when you're cooking. But you know, y'all, I'm gonna take this off this hot eye, and I'll probably step outside and finish this conversation. And let's be real. I think I spoke out of turn. I said I was going back to the park, but I just realized I opened the beer 15 minutes ago. It's probably hot now, but I'm gonna finish that beer. I don't normally drive around when I've had a beer, a single beer at that. So the chance of me going to the park is slim and none right about now. You know, because I know I can handle 1 beer. It's just the thought of catching an accident while I'm driving or whatever. But I'm curious to know why someone just asked me if I like rap. Is my music too loud in the background? Because I turned it down before I started this, because I understand the copyright laws or whatnot. You know, like I said, I really do appreciate those of you that have subscribed to my channel. And if you haven't already, like, comment, subscribe. Um, in Bergson, as far as what you asked, Tupac or Big. To be honest, neither one of them. I never cared for neither one of them. Not saying they weren't great, but I never cared for either one of them. To be honest with you, uh, I never really did. um, because they were manufactured. That's what a lot of the young cats are today. If you want to know the truth behind those two, they were manufactured artists. They weren't as gangster as they said. They weren't all these things. If y'all go back to look at some of the earlier videos when Tupac was about 17, this is not to call nobody their sexual preference or nothing. But when he was 17, his videos, his interviews were extremely borderline feminine. Less than 2 years, they recreated him based on one movie. So it was an image, but I'm not knocking that. I never really cared for neither one of those music. There's one, if I had to choose, and this is mainly because he did a collaboration with Dr. Dre, which is one of my favorite producers, which was California Love or California. That was Tupac. That was the only Tupac song I absolutely enjoyed. Not saying I disliked his songs, but between him and Biggie, I didn't have a favorite. So, people can go on and ask that question. People can go on and ask it about what are those other two people called? LeBron and Jordan. I can care less. I'm one of the few, as they say, unks or OGs. I outgrew sports a long time ago. I don't watch it. I mean, if it's on, if I'm in the company of somebody, or if I visit a buddy, he has something on, I'll sit there and watch it. But it's not a favorite of mine. Last night when I got back in from hanging with my friend, I got on television. I was watching the Alaskan Railroad, how they were showing how to keep the Alaskan Railroad clean from snow, ice, freezing rain, debris. I watch stuff like that. I watch entertaining things. I like nature shows. Watching them build a boat from scratch. Hunting. There's a great show, been around many years, and you can find it on Discovery Plus, called Moonshiners. If y'all have never seen Moonshiners, that's a great show to watch. I think it may be between 8 and 10 seasons. It's just about people living in the woods making moonshine and trying to get away from the cops and trying to sell it. I like that. To each his own. But rap, not so much. If I had to pick one thing that I absolutely like here, I was doing some research and I turned off my television, but I turned it back on because I went to my YouTube music and I put in Enigma. If y'all never heard Enigma, I'm sorry. Enigma, not just the one album. What I have on right now is a collaboration of Enigma, but music relating to Enigma. And that's what I like about YouTube music. You can put in one thing, it'll give you a list of a genre. I had Pandora. I canceled it. Both my vehicles, of course, has what is that I hardly ever listen to? Sirius XM. I'm in my vehicle like 12 minutes, at best 30 minutes tops. I don't have time to listen to music. I like to watch entertaining shows. That's why I made the video once before. Y'all come on with me. I'm gonna move around. My cabbage is done. Oh, I forgot I have to clean up. Y'all making me forget to clean. That's not gonna sit well there. Dance around with me, folks. I don't mind. That's why I made the video once before, titled it Jody don't watch football. And a few people sent me inboxed me in reference to why did I say Jody don't watch football? And I explained it clearly in my video, in my live, about Jody not watching football. We can cover that again. I don't think there's enough people online right now to want to talk about Jody, but I'll talk about it anyway. The reason why Jody don't watch football, Jody's more Jody's more in tune with the ladies. And for all of you diehard sports fans, nothing's wrong with it. First of all, y'all know as well as I do, especially when it's football or basketball season, you forget all about your old lady. And that's where Jody comes in. Don't get mad about Jody. Jody's just keeping your lady in shape for you. For that special night when you come home upset because your favorite team lost the Super Bowl. And I'm sitting here. Now, I've gone to Super Bowl parties, watching my grown ass friends damn near fighting and crying because their team lost. To each his own, like I said. I had never in my life been heartbroken over. No, yes, I did. Back when I went to my first wrestling match. And yes, I knew wrestling was fake. And I believe it was back during the days of the Omni Coliseum. And I might be wrong with this, but I think it was the night, one of many nights, Dusty Rhodes had his leg broken. And everybody was in shock. And I think that was one of those freak accidents. But I did manage to attend. I've been to two soccer matches here in the Metro Atlanta area. Because yes, we have a soccer team. That was the most exciting sporting event I've been to in the Metro Atlanta area in a long time. High energy. You go to the Falcons game, everybody just sitting around clapping as if they're listening to a presentation. You know, very boring. Very boring. Don't get me wrong, they get up and get somewhat elevated. But when I went to that soccer game the first time, and all of that pure energy in the stands, 90% of the people there didn't even sit down the whole time. That's how much energy was there. Now, I would strongly suggest, especially you ladies that are trying to get into sports, that like sports, whatever, if you haven't visited a soccer match, attend a couple of them. You're going to have a great time. I did not get hooked. I did not go out and become a season ticket holder, but I would go again. I would definitely go again. I enjoyed it. So that's my extent of sports. If I had a chance right now to win $1,000 and without cheating, if I had a chance right now to win $1,000 without cheating and name 5 current basketball players, I couldn't even do it. I had a chance to win $2,000 to name 5 current football players. I couldn't do it. There's nothing wrong with the sports. I just don't watch them. Because it's the same old letdowns, the same old outcome. You know, the last time I was really seriously into football, when, what was it, Hurricane Katrina? I think I got my Hurricanes right. And then the Saints came back the next year or whatever and won their Super Bowl. That was fixed. They had to pump money back into that state and into that city and to win over the hearts of all those people that was upset because they lost their homes, their livelihoods, their jobs, their loved ones. That was fixed. I like to say that in front of my friends when they're at the bar because it pisses them off. They don't believe it, but it is true. It's 100% fixed. And I'm going to turn this music down, y'all, if it's too loud. I don't want any copyright issues, anything like that. Y'all hold on a second. Turn y'all around. So I really should get off this live and try some of that cabbage. But y'all want to know the interesting thing for me about cabbage or any type of greens? They absolutely taste better once they've set for a while. So I'm gonna let them sit there and steep. But back to the Biggie and Tupac. Don't y'all get me wrong. I wasn't putting down neither one of them. I'm just saying neither one are my favorite. I don't have a favorite. I would like to think they were both great for what they contributed, but that's as far as I can go with it. You know, that's it. How do I feel about the Puffy situation? Or as they're going back to call him Sean Combs, he's gonna walk. Y'all hold on a minute. Yeah, Sean Combs is gonna walk, mainly because they spent too much time. And I feel sorry for happening to Cassie Ventura, whatever her name is, Cassie V. I feel sorry for what happened to her. But they spent too much time trying to pump more information out of her. Now, a lot of people seem to think he's going to get away with a lot of stuff. Here's the thing behind that. If he does get away with it, will he survive once the people that are in control of him get a hold to him if he gets out? Will he survive that? Because we're all thinking, and I'm including myself in this. I'm not going to keep saying y'all. We're all thinking it stops with him. No, it didn't stop with him. Everybody knows Clive Davis was allegedly a big time bisexual man, and nothing's wrong with that. But he had a kinky way. And they know he pulled Puff Daddy in, and that's how Puff Daddy got to be. We all had this misconception that Puff Daddy was the owner creator of Bad Boy Records. He might have the idea, but he did not own it. That was Clive Davis, allegedly. So we get on here and we put these people on pedestals, and we don't really do our research. And the reason why we are so guilty of not researching things, because society erased a lot of our history. So if you don't have history, you never think about history, you're not going to investigate history. I just really believe that. And they pulling all these people into this party. Look, I'm gonna be honest with y'all. I don't think you should go to jail for going to a freak off. Now, you should go to jail for if you being involved with all these underage girls or boys or whatever. If you're giving them drugs and anybody that was under the age of, this is where it gets tricky. 18, you're considered grown in a lot of states, but you're not old enough to buy alcohol in any state. So with that being said, he should have been a little bit more cautious and had everybody in there 21 and up, carded, ID, vetted, whatever. But he didn't. And those are some of the things he's going to be guilty of getting in trouble about. But the fact that all these people, mature people, went to those parties, those freak offs, and they may have got, okay, so what? Let's say he did put something in the baby oil that got everybody high. But I know for a fact that there's no way. I'm just going to say, I don't want to call celebrity. I'm just going to say, let's say it was a celebrity named Timbo. There's no way Timbo went to those parties and got high or drunk off of laced baby oil. He may not remember all of it, but I'm sure by the time he got back home, he knew something was strange going on. And now everybody's talking about, well, because P. Diddy allegedly had videotapes of everybody. He was harassing them and blackmailing them. Timbo gonna want to go back anyway because he had a great time. There are a lot of people out there that said, "Oh, I went to a Diddy party once," and they clam up after that. They were sworn in secrecy. They didn't want to go back. You know, and I don't know because I'm not a celebrity, I'm not a performer, but I'm thinking when you're put in that circle, it don't matter if you're a singer, a movie star, or even a professional sports star. You get around that stuff, it's going to consume quite a bit of people. It really will. That's why true fact, an alleged true fact, when black men became more prevalent in sports, Cause for the longest, y'all don't know this because y'all young. Black men weren't allowed to participate in sports with white men. We had what they would call the Negro League. We had all these other black organizations. But once the black men was allowed to start playing in the national sporting events, all of them, the white men couldn't keep up. Now, I'm not saying all of them, y'all just hold on. But a lot of the white men couldn't keep up. And so that wasn't really a big thing about sports enhancement drugs back then. Guess where they went to? A lot of these Italian football players and basketball players and Sicilian and all these people, they went to their uncle or back up there on the block, and they got that cocaine. They brought that cocaine back into the locker room. Those white boys sit over there snorting that cocaine to get their rate up to try to keep up with the black men. So now it started looking like they're leveling off. All these white guys running around doped up on coke to compete with the black men that was brought into these sporting events that was well underpaid, but they were more superior in performance. And what happens? Yeah, one black guys go over there. White boys put them on that stuff, but put them on double the amount. That messed them up. Bingo. What happens? Society, all these gangsters that was basically back in the day, everybody got it wrong. White man put drugs in the black communities. I don't know if those you want to call Italians or people that's strictly from Sicilians and all these people white. I don't know. I don't like to talk about race, but we're gonna talk about this. They're the one that really put the drugs in there because they saw an easy market where it was untapped. It was untapped. So you got to think about this. They had professional sports. The white boys were taking coke to speed up, to get better. Now, that's how it happened. I don't know all the ins and outs, who gave the who and all this kind of stuff, and then they started calling it stepping on things, And to be honest with you, we all knew how to step on stuff a long time ago as black ancestors, back when the days that great grandparents worked in the cotton fields. They was pretty much given the scraps from the pig, pretty much given parts of the corn that boss man didn't want to eat. And they was back there cutting up the chickens and getting the chicken ready for master them to cook and have for family dinners. And they didn't want the beak, the neck, and they didn't want the chicken feet. But guess what? Black man started bringing that back home to feed everybody. He was making stew with it. Yeah. He's making stew with it because they were not all born here in the United States. These are some of the things that they were eating back in wherever they came from. Not all black slaves came from Africa. The reason why a lot of people don't know this because they took black history out of schools. Not history, not American history, but black history. They took it out of schools. None of y'all never heard of black history. I know. I'm not making this up. But I didn't want to get too deep on that. But I get on here and I can just start talking about all kinds of stuff. But yeah, we can get on here and talk about who scored the most points in the NBA this season. I don't know. I don't even care. I would like y'all to talk to me about this stuff. I would listen to y'all tell me. I'll find it interesting. I mean, I listen to Stephen A. Smith, not so much because of he's very knowledgeable in what's going on in sports, because I like the way he commentates. I like some of the stuff he says, and I like his drive and his delivery to a lot of topics. So I listen to him. A lot of people don't. You don't have to like the man. Hell, he rich. He got a lot of followers. I listen to him. Do I listen to all this stuff? No, I do not. I listen to Cam Newton's show. I watch his show. Do I agree with everything with him? No, I do not, but I like it. I was watching Club Shay Shay. Did I agree with some of the stuff some of those people were saying? No, but I watched it. It was entertainment for me. Because of what I like and somebody else don't mean I can't watch it or you have to go watch something else. You know, it's free country. You know, a lot of y'all not gonna even like watching me on here because I'm not jumping up and down. I'm not doing skits. Y'all not tuning into me to watch me put hot sauce in nobody ice cream or watching me pretend I'm asleep. You know, watch me pretend I snuck in. Y'all ain't watching me doing them same old skits. There are a lot of people out here that get on live. Look, there's no paper here. I don't have a guideline to go by. Y'all kept me company while I was cooking that cabbage, and that went by pretty quick. I appreciate y'all. I'm gonna try to keep it real as much as possible, but I am gonna do I am gonna record this food challenge or this taste challenge somebody want me to try. I said I wouldn't be doing that, but they were like, "Oh, do it online. You should record it so they can see your reaction." Okay, I'm gonna do it. Probably won't be today, because I don't want to. If it's gonna make me sick or mess my stomach up, I want my cabbage. I don't want to sit on here and try to gain subscribers, making myself sick, like a lot of people are doing. And there's this one couple, like I said, I've talked about them before. They have quite a bit of subscribers. I subscribe to them. But I'm going to have to unsubscribe to him simply because this lady know her man is really, really sick. And some of the stuff she doing to him food-wise, it's unhealthy. All in the name of the mighty dollar. And I know they might not do it a lot, but if you do it enough, there's no way you should be putting that much sugar in that man Diet Coke. There's no way you should be putting that much syrup in that man pudding. Just doing some stupid stuff. To me, it's stupid. You know, if you're healthy, fine. But if you really, really unhealthy and it's noticeable and you doing that to somebody, what happens if something happened to that guy in the middle of going into a diabetic coma and then dying? She can be up on murder charges because it's being filmed. People need to be careful of the stuff they're doing. And I've also watched pranks gone wrong. I've seen all that stuff. So y'all be careful when you're doing these pranks. I like watching the pranks, but if I switch to 2 or 3 people and I've seen the same prank, I'm bored with it already. Some of them I watch because there are some very nice looking young ladies on there doing these pranks and watching and doing their videos. Some of my favorite videos that I watch are people van life. I like van life. It don't matter who's doing it. I like seeing what they did to their van, how they're living and coping in their vans. I like that kind of stuff. Schoolies, this one particular guy, I've been watching him for over a year now. He almost has that school bus the way he wanted. I'm watching him build that school bus completely from the day he took the first seat out of it. Excuse me, my eyes are burning. But that's what I watch. And I'm all over the place. But no, I don't have Sports Network or ESPN. I don't have all this stuff. And I'm not downplaying that. You know, watch what you watch. It's just not my thing. You know, yeah, I could easily sit here and watch. I don't even know what season it is. But let's just say, for safety's sake, NBA playoffs. I can sit here and watch 4 games on any given day. But I can sit here and watch something that's more informative. I choose to watch something more informative. That's all it is. And it would not be politics. So that's a joke all within itself. For those that like it, fine by me. It's not my thing. We all like what we like. And simply because I might not care to watch something don't mean somebody else can't watch it. But I do know that there is a trend. Once you blow up, let's just say some of the people I watched that went from 500 subscribers. There's this one young lady, well, 50s. She took off. And she was so ecstatic. Man, what happened? And I'm glad she did. She became monetized. And then that light bulb went off in her head. I got to keep doing this to get more money, get more money. She didn't stay the course. She fell off just as quick as she blew up because she was just trying to do too much of whatever. So I think once you get to that point now, you do have to work on your niche and redevelop some things. I do believe that, but I'm not on here for that. I'm not on here to get monetized. Sometimes I get on here because I just want to run my mouth. I've been on the phone. I've had 3 or 4 phone conversations today that wasn't talking about nothing. So I want to get on here and talk to y'all. I have a Zoom meeting later on. Oh shoot, it's coming up time at 8 p.m. It's supposed to be about business and finance. I don't think that's what they're gonna be talking about tonight. But I have a Zoom meeting tonight. The group is about earn as you grow or something like that. But they always talk about money, investments. Trust me, y'all, I ain't investing in nothing those people on this in this group trying to sell, because I think a lot of it might end up being one of those pyramid schemes. 2 weeks ago, they talked about relationships. They talked about getting together as a group and going traveling. So I like venturing into things like that. I would listen to them. I like the Zoom calls. Simple reason being that there are people being interactive, and there are people from all over the world that are in these groups, and these are mature people, and they're not being immature, silly. You got to have some kind of seriousness in your life, some kind of way. And that's how I'll get mine. So, but anyway, I'm gonna get off this live and get back to the rest of my day. Everybody have a great Sunday afternoon.